Welcome to Lesson 2. What is in a noun? Before we start, I want to say one thing to you that's kind of housekeeping. Yesterday I asked that you please don't be shy and you talk to your screen. This is crucial when we're obviously studying a language together. Today what I want to ask is that you go and you find a notebook. And you find a pen or a pencil, and you have it with you when we're working together, because there's going to be times that you're going to just want to write notes, you're going to want to explain things to yourself so you can remember them in your own words, and there's also going to be times when I actually ask you to do exercises in class, because a great tool for memory is to actually be writing words. So we're going to be doing plenty of that together. So pause the video, go grab a notebook and something to write with, and then come back. Okay, are you back? I'm assuming that now you have something to write with, and we're about to get into the lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna just talk about grammar. Usually, grammar will be incorporated in a lesson, but it will never be the focus of it. But just to get some terminology out of the way, terminology that will help us learn Greek and understand concepts more quickly, we're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes right now talking about grammar and specifically answering the question, what is in a noun? When you look at a word in English and in Greek, or when you hear a word, you can tell certain things about it by how it's written and by how it sounds. Take a look at these words. We have here the word tree, and then we have the word trees. Those are referring to the same thing, to the same noun, a tree, right? But there's a difference. There's an S on the end. And then we have below it another set of words, the word dog and the word dogs. Again, these words have an S on the end of them. What is that S telling us about the noun? What's the difference between a tree and trees, or between the word dog and dogs? The difference is the number. Number is the first thing that is in a Greek noun. When we look at a Greek noun, depending on how it's spelled, let's say, how it's written, we know whether it is singular or whether the noun is plural, whether it's one tree or a group of trees, one dog or a group of dogs. That is the first thing that's in a noun. Let's look at another sentence. Tom walks Sally's dog. Now in this sentence, there are 3 nouns. A noun is a person, a place, or a thing. What are the nouns here? Tom. Is that a person? Yes. So, check. Tom is a noun. Walks. Nope, not a person, a place, or a thing. Let's leave that. Sally. Is Sally a person, place, or thing? Yes. Sally's a noun. Tom and Sally. And then the dog? The dog is a thing. That's a noun. We have 3 nouns in this sentence. Tom, Sally, and dog. But if we look closely, they're all doing something a bit different. Their function in the sentence is different. Tom, in the sentence, is called the subject. He is the one who does the verbing. He is doing the walking, right? He's in control of the verb. Tom is the subject. Sally, in this sentence, is a possessor. She's actually not involved with the verb. She's just possessing something. What does she possess? The dog. It's whose dog? Sally's dog. Tom is the subject. He does the verbing. Sally is a possessor. And the dog is an object. The dog is the object. It is affected by the verbing. The dog might have been laying down, and now it's going to get walked. It's going to go on a walk. It's affected by the walking. The dog is the object in this sentence. Even though there are three nouns, they're all the same part of speech. They're doing three different things. They're functioning in three different ways in the sentence. That, in grammatical terms, those different functions are called cases. Cases. And when we look at a Greek noun, we can tell how it's functioning in the sentence. We can tell its case depending on how it is written, how it is spelled. The cases, I don't want you to focus on learning these now. You don't have to remember what they are. I just want you to understand what a case is. It's the function. The cases, technically, in Greek, are nominative. There's a certain way that the subject of the sentence will be spelled. They're genitive. There's a certain way to spell that same thing if it's acting in a sentence as a possessor. So Tom as a subject versus Toms as a possessor. And then we have the accusative case. The accusative case is the case of the object, the thing that gets affected by the verb. Finally, there's another case called the vocative that we're going to leave to the side for now, and it's an easy thing that we'll talk about in the future. So, we know that a noun tells us the number. The second thing that's in a noun is the case. The case. Now, let's look at three Greek words. We have the word o andras. That means man. We have the word I gyneka. That means woman. And we have the word to pragma. That means thing. All of these words are nouns, but there's something that differentiates them. And it's something that we don't see in English. All of these words have a different gender. The word o andras has a masculine gender. The word I gyneka has a feminine gender, and the word to pragma has a neuter gender. Now, if you look at these words, there's a few things that tell us, a few hints, because of how they're written, that tell us about their gender. But I don't want you to focus on those. We'll learn those hints as we go. I want you to actually look in front of the word at what is called the article. O in front of andras, I in front of gyneka, and to in front of pragma. Those three different articles correspond o to the masculine gender. Whenever you see a word with o in front of it, it's a masculine word. And then I corresponds to the feminine gender, the ita. And then to corresponds to the neuter gender. And so, what is the third thing in a Greek noun, aside from number and aside from case? It is gender. And what are the three genders in Greek? O andras is masculine. Masculine is one of the genders. I gyneka is feminine, another gender. And finally, to pragma is the third gender, neuter. Now, one more point about gender. Let's look at these words. And what I actually want you to do, this is why you need a notebook, is write down what gender you think the word is. Not going to give you much help, just guess. Number 1. Uranos. Uranos means sky. What gender do you think that is? Why don't you write it down? Is it masculine, M, feminine, F, or N, neuter? Next, Leophoros. Leophoros means avenue. It's a big street. Masculine, feminine, or neuter? Avenue. Number 3, Koritsi. Koritsi means girl. What gender do you think Koritsi is? Finally, number 4, Agori. Agori means boy. What gender do you think Agori is? Okay, do you have them all written down? Let's take a look. Number 1, sky, we said, Uranos. Uranos is masculine. Number 2, we had the word avenue, Leophoros. Leophoros is feminine. Number 3, we had the word for girl, koritsi. Koritsi, what's the word for girl? What gender is that? It's neuter, to koritsi. And then for agori, the boy, also neuter, to agori. What does this tell us? We might expect that the sky, as a thing, would be neuter. Same with an avenue. And a girl certainly would think is feminine, and a boy masculine. Well, it's not the case. And that's because in Greek, gender is not natural. And what I mean by that is it doesn't correspond to some sort of natural quality of the object. Gender in Greek is simply grammatical. It's just something that you learn with the word. Yes, at times you can guess, and at times you'll be right. But there are many times when you have to just know the gender of the word. As we go on, we'll learn some ways, some tricks that will help us understand and guess more accurately. But the right approach, and the one that we're going to take, is whenever we learn a new word, we're going to learn the gender of that word together with it. So, quick review. Let's answer our question. What is in a noun? What's in a noun? 3 things. Tree, trees, dog, dogs. Number. And then, Tom walks Sally's dog. Different functions mean different cases. And then finally, what did we just talk about? Masculine, feminine, neuter, gender. All of these 3 things, when we look at a word in Greek, we can tell its number, its case, and its gender. So, that's it. That was our hard-hitting grammar lesson. Not so bad. There's not an assignment attached to this lesson. There's a refresher quiz that you can take, and I'll see you in our next lesson where we're going to see a real Greek dialogue, and we're actually going to ourselves make and speak a real 100% Greek dialogue. See you soon. Bye-bye.